Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of the importance of the thumb video. If you are a one-hander and you did not see part 1, please go back and watch part 1. I'm going to talk to you about the proper fit and feel of the thumb hole, and that's important before you get into this part 2. If you've already watched part 1, or if you are a two-hander and you're jumping ahead to part 2, here we're going to be talking about the importance of the thumb in your release. Before we get into that, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. With that said, let's jump into the importance of the thumb when we're talking about the release. A lot of experts talk about the yo-yo technique, and some people like it, some people don't. I think that it definitely does serve a purpose if you think about it in a certain way. A yo-yo, when you think about a yo-yo, your wrist is cupped, you're bending the wrist away as you throw the yo-yo down, and then cupping it back up as the yo-yo comes back up. So you're going from cup, uncupped, back to cup. That is what we're trying to achieve. The thing I don't like is that all that's in front of your body and you don't bowl like that. You don't go up there and go as you're throwing the ball. People talk about using a ball and going right here and mastering that flick, and it does help with the flick, but again, this is not a natural bowling motion because you don't have that arm swing in there. What I want us to be thinking about is yes, we want to uncup and then we want to come back up again, but it's not just about uncupping and cupping, it's about rotating and then lifting. So as you're bowling, as you're coming through, as your hand is falling through, your thumb is going to be, if you draw a straight line right here, if your hand is straight behind the ball and it's pointing directly at your target, as you're starting to come through, your thumb is going from here and it's actually pointing anywhere from about maybe 20 degrees to 70 degrees from your perpendicular line. And so you're actually pointing your thumb at that particular angle. You don't want to keep it going because as soon as you keep it going, now your thumb's pointing down. We don't want the thumb pointing down. We want that thumb starting, pointing the direction that we want to go, and as soon as it rolls off your thumb, then you're lifting back up with your fingers. That's the motion that we're trying to create. As a two-hander, it's no different, except instead of your thumb being in the ball and the thumb is pointing, now we're talking about the base of your thumb. And so that base of that thumb is now the thing that we want to go pointing in that somewhat of a 45-degree angle direction. As soon as it starts to come off where your thumb would be, or in this case, the palm of your hand, and then you're still following back through with your fingers. So as a two-hander, you're coming through, this part of your palm is still going to be pointing. The base of your thumb is still pointing in that particular spot as you then come through and lift on the ball. So one way to practice this is to actually get up to the line and do this with no-step drills. So here we are out to the line with some no-step drills. With your foot down here, no-step drills, getting in your fitness position, okay? With the things that we learned before with a proper fitting thumb and being able to actually pull back with your thumb to create that cup and being able to swing, now what I want to do is I want to focus on, as I come through the ball, my thumb is going to uncut my wrist, but I'm going to point that thumb in a 45-degree angle toward that particular target. As soon as it starts to roll off, I'm going to let it roll and follow through with my fingers. So I want that feel as I'm coming through. Hang it down, pull back with the thumb, swing it a few times, and right at the bottom, turn that thumb, uncoil the wrist, point that thumb 45 degrees, okay? But then bring it back and lift, okay? Right here. As a two-hander, I'm using an alley ball here because I've got a funky finger grip. And as a two-hander, same thing. We're going to be doing at the foul line, okay? In your two-hand position, okay? You're right here. Now you're already going to be cupped because that ball can be resting against your forearm. You're going to be swinging back, and as you go through, point the base of that thumb 45 degrees away from your target, 45-degree angle. And as you come through and that ball starts to roll off, then you're going to lift up with your fingers. So, coming here, swing it a few times, and then point that thumb, point that thumb, point that thumb. Now let's look at each of these from the backside view. These lanes are hooking like crazy, so don't pay attention to where the ball goes. The point of this is not scoring. It's not even keeping the ball in the lane, not necessarily about hitting your mark. It's about how does it feel at your release, and are you getting the rotation that you want? So I'm going to put my hand in the ball. I'm going to flatten my thumb. I'm going to pull the thumb back to get that cup motion. I'm going to come back here with my hand behind the ball. But as I start to come through, I'm going to uncoil the wrist with that thumb going 45 degrees that way. Cup back. Okay, thumb came out 45 degrees, and I accomplished that by just, my hand is here, all I did is uncoil the wrist. I'm not even really rolling my hand over. I'm uncoiling my wrist. By uncoiling the wrist, that thumb is naturally going to go that direction. Uncoil the wrist, come back through. Uncoil the wrist, come back through. Two-handed motion, okay? Hand is directly behind the ball, other hand's on the ball. My hand is cupped. As I follow through, I'm going to uncoil the wrist, which is going to make the base of my thumb point 45 degrees or so away from that perpendicular line, okay? And so uncoil, and then I'm lifting at the very end. Coming back through here. Yes, the ball went in the gutter. Okay, I'm not a two-hander, and again, that is not the objective, trying to keep it on line. The objective is to get that feel. Again, coming back here, getting that feel of the hand going uncupped, which is going to take that thumb, point it diagonally towards your target, and as it rolls off your hand, then you're lifting with your fingers. So it's the importance of that thumb, or the base of your thumb, even as a two-hander, focusing on what that thumb is doing. Again, you're not turning your hand over. Don't chicken wing it to get your hand over. It's uncoiling your wrist, and your thumb will go in that direction. Focus on how that feels. I am not a natural two-hander by any means. In fact, I think I've maybe practiced this 10 games total in my entire life. But the principles are all the same. Okay? Hand behind the ball, getting that thumb toward my target. All right, so hopefully that's some helpful tips to think about as you're practicing on your release. One-step drill is focusing on your thumb, whether you're one-hander or two-hander. It's getting that thumb started in the direction. That's going to help you going from a cup wrist to an uncupped wrist. Thus remembering as soon as that ball rolls off, you want to be lifting back up with your fingers, not continuing all the way over. Your thumb goes from here to here and then back up again, not here to here. Hopefully that helps. Hit that subscribe button if you like this video, and we'll see you at the next one.